Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela. And on this topic, I wanted to talk to you guys about why the narcissist can forget you so quickly. The reason the narcissist can forget you so quickly is because they're always going through something. The narcissist is always under attack. And if they are not being under attack, the people around them are being under attack. So this is why the narcissist is easily able to forget about you and only hoover you when that bad karma that is following them gets too hard for them to deal with, and that's when they'll hoover you. Sometimes they won't hoover you at all, and they forget about you because everything that they were expecting isn't happening for them. Sometimes it could be quite shocking how quickly they can forget you, especially when you've dedicated years to their growth, right? Almost counseling them, guiding them, and they just forget you. They forget everything you taught them. It's like they're finally free from you in their mind, because at some point in time, the narcissist wouldn't leave you alone. It seemed like you were always in their mind. They always had to come back. They always had to reassure you. They always had to gaslight you and love bomb you and re-idolize you all over again. So when the narcissist, doesn't think about you anymore and they ghost you and they switch up quickly, you might wonder, how could this person not think of me anymore? You have to look at it as, if you have a friendship with someone and you start to see that it's one-sided, and you decide to yourself, this is a one-sided relationship, I don't want no parts of it. Technically speaking, you're not going to think about that person because you didn't invest any time and energy on them. So a lot of times when you think about the narcissist, it's because you spent energy and time on them. For the narcissist, it's easy for them not to think about you because they feel like they didn't get exploited. A lot of times a narcissist feels like, people did me dirty in the past, and this time I'm not going to allow that, even if you're not doing any of the things that people have done to them. To them, it's about staying on top and always having one over on you. It's sort of like, having an awakening and realizing, that people got over on you. So this time you choose to act out and defend yourself, and it makes you feel good at first, but later on your frequency is low and you don't feel good. You feel like your energy has been sucked away. The reason the narcissist does not think about you is because they're so distracted, getting into other people's worlds and distracting themselves from reality. They distract themselves from reality, even though they understand reality. All those feelings of, I got away with what I did, this time, I'm not the one that got. This time, I got that person. The guilt and the shame, the narcissist won't be able to feel it until they start trying to enjoy what they left you for. The narcissist, won't think about you until there's moments where they know that things aren't going their way and could have been going their way. So things will happen to this person, and sometimes they get the type of reaction that they weren't expecting. They get treated in a way that they weren't expecting, so they don't think about you, but what you did for them. So the reason the narcissist is easily able to forget you is because, one, when they came into the situation, they already knew it wasn't going to be forever. They already knew it was just going to be, another stop. You might even think to yourself, this person almost killed me over nothing, over things that they could have got themselves, or they could have just, They could have been living their life on their own. They didn't have to involve me in it. So this goes to show to you that you're dealing with someone that's careless. Like, they're careless for your life. They're careless for their own life. And they're willing to bring you down and bring themselves down. A lot of times the narcissists, they don't want to think about the past supply because it reminds them of who they used to be. You know, when they met you, they needed you. They needed you to uplift them, to build them up, you know. And once they feel like they've been built and they're becoming, you know, the version of themselves that they imagine themselves to be, they tend to try to forget you. But this lets you know that this person doesn't have any boundaries. They don't have any morals, any etiquette. You know, everything is for show. They want to forget who they truly are. To the narcissist, they view things like, if I forget about them, if I forget that I did something to someone, then it didn't really happen. If I did something to you and I want to forget about it so that I don't have to deal with the guilt, the karma, then I'm going to act like it never happened. This is why when you bring things up, they'll deny it altogether, or they'll get really upset, really angry. The narcissist wants to forget you because they feel like if they forget you, you'll forget them. If they forget you, they'll be able to break that tie that they have with you. The narcissist feels like if they can completely forget you, they can forget their lies. And if they forget their lies, they can start brand new. They can start a fresh new start without feeling any guilt. The narcissist wants to forget you so that others can feel like they're over you, so that others can feel as if you don't even exist anymore to the narcissist as well, so that, you know, the narcissist can be seen in a new light, a new version of themselves without you in it. The reason the narcissist deceives you is because even though in your mind you spent a lot of time with this person, in their mind it wasn't a lot of time. So the narcissist, you know, they felt like they needed as much time as they needed to do what they needed to do. And a lot of times when things backfired on them and they could have just been by themselves, they feel like, why should I have to deal with my problems by myself? I can't do that. There's no amount of supply that you can give the narcissist that will make the narcissist appreciate you. That's like having a narcissist for a kid. You know, your child is a narcissist and you've been doing stuff for this person their whole life and they still don't appreciate anything. And that's almost how you have to view the narcissist, is that whenever they get with someone, it's expected. You know, whatever you put into them, to them, it's expected. You know, anyone who comes in their life, they feel like eventually, you know, you're going to have to bow down to all of their expectations. So yeah, at first it might seem like, you know, teamwork makes the dream work. But eventually it's going to change. Another thing that, you don't realize is that when the narcissist moves from relationship to relationship, you know, you might think to yourself, wow, they moved on, you know, to someone else. Now they're doing all the things that they promised me. Now they're, you know, now they're getting married, you know, now they're having children. You know, all these things are memories and expectations that I had, you know, and it can almost trigger you because it's like they left you in the past, like they left you in this haunted house and, you know, just drifted off into the sunset. And it's almost like they don't even think about you. It's almost like If they were to hoover you, it's just never going to be the same. If you were to hoover them, it's never going to be the same, because you won't even recognize that person anymore. You'll look at that person hoping that they remember you, and you're looking at them, and it's like you're seeing an unfamiliar face. They're looking at you like they don't remember you, like you're not, they have certain memories of you. The trauma that they inflicted, they remember those things. While they're with you, that hate grows. Instead of them being empathetic for the things that they've done to you, that hate just grows within them. When they're away from you, that's when they start to empathize with you again. So you can almost say that this is like the narcissist curse, is that they're so busy not wanting to think about you that they move on with someone else. And while they're with you, they hate you, that it just gets more diabolical as it goes. But now they can't connect to that person because they're thinking about the past. They're not thinking about the past because they want to go back to the past. But when things get hard for them, they wish they could reach out to certain people, and sometimes they do. But when they get close to that person again, that hate comes back. It's almost like talking to someone on the phone, and when you talk to them on the phone, you feel like you can talk to this person all night. You can talk to them for hours. It's like when a narcissist love bombs you and they're speaking to you, online, or they're speaking to you on the phone. You feel like you have this deep connection with them, right? You're like, this person always checks up on me. They always call me in the morning. They, you think the most of them. And then when you're around them, you're like, this is not what I thought it would be. You're looking at them like they're not behaving, or they're not talking to me the way that they were talking to me on the phone. Or now they're, they go from being someone where you can socialize with them, and now they're not speaking at all, or they're coming at you aggressive, right? And you're like, why is this person aggressive? And they were so sweet over the phone. The moment the narcissist feels like they know you, they don't think about you anymore. They're like, this is boring, So when they're with you and they're trying to get with that secondary supply and promote them to, primary supply, they're feeling butterflies, they're excited, they're turning on you, and it's almost like they don't even think about you anymore. And now they hate you. They're not thinking about you anymore. Their focus is that new supply, talking to that person. They're like, I love talking to that person for hours. That person gets me. You don't get me. I don't even think about you. I'm only thinking of the new supply. The more the narcissist lies to you, the more they start to hate you. The more they start to tell you that they'll never think about you. They'll never come back to you, right? The more they lie to you, the more they hate you, even though you never did anything to them. The more they hate you, the more the new supply seems appealing. The more you react, the more the narcissist will make you look like you're the bad person, blame things on you, make people feel like it's like there's something wrong with you. You're doing something to them. The narcissist is already planning their escape to not think of you anymore. They end the relationship while being with you. They're not thinking about you, your needs. Everything changes. They're not nice, not even a little bit. They're not polite. They won't pull a chair. They won't be nice to you. To the narcissist, they're not thinking about you anymore. While they're with you, they're not thinking of you. They're thinking of that new supply. But once they get with that new supply, once they have to make a choice because their lies are catching up to them, they know, hey, I can move on now because I won't think about you anymore. I won't feel bad for you anymore. The narcissist is literally resenting you and hating you for their own lies, So they're already planning on never thinking about you again. So they're sabotaging you. They're doing things so that they can make themselves look like a victim. The narcissist will even tell you, I'm not sweating you. I'm not tripping on you. I'm not thinking about you. We're not even together anymore, while they're still with you, because they want you to be angry. They want you to do stuff to them so that they can go and tell other people the crazy things you're doing to justify their hate for you. So a lot of times, they'll hate you because certain people won't agree completely with the narcissist. So when the narcissist sees that certain people do not believe them, or certain people know that that's not the full story, that brings out even more hate in them for you. And that's what makes them have the drive to forget you. The narcissist hates you because they feel like you're putting your own happiness and your own needs and your expectations of them first. They're like, you're expecting these things out of me. What about my happiness? What about me? You're making things about you. So this is why you can't make things work with a narcissist, because you're literally dealing with someone that you will do everything for. And in the end, they'll just flip it on you and say that they've done everything for you. So you're dealing with someone that doesn't appreciate you, and then they look at you like an enemy just because they've betrayed you. The narcissist, they try to forget you and not think about you because they're tormented as it goes. They have problems stacked on top of problems, and to them, their problems are harder than yours because they have to keep going through bad karma. So what the narcissist does, because they don't want to think about the traumas and the things that they did to you, is that they will distract themselves with the new supply. When they distract themselves with the new supply, they're compensating all the things that you wanted, all that guilt, all that shame that they feel. Because people will tell you that narcissists don't feel anything, but most of the time these people are feeling guilt and shame, even though they don't stop behaving, even though that they don't stop behaving the way that they're behaving. They can't help themselves. It's in their nature. That doesn't mean that certain things don't torment them. So even though they did what they did and they felt like they feel like they're not affected by their actions, and they're willing to pay the price, and that's what they have to deal with. They're trying to compensate what they did to you by treating the next person well. So they're treating that person well out of that shame and guilt that they feel. This doesn't mean that the narcissist has empathy for you. It means that they're tormented and don't know what to do with those feelings. And it doesn't torment them the way you expect it to torment them. It's more about them being afraid of the unknown, them being afraid if they actually made the right choice with this new person, what's going to be the future like, are things going to get caught up with them? Is this person really strong enough to go through the same scenarios that other supplies have went through? Those type of things start tormenting them, not in a sense of they feel bad for what they did to you, but they feel bad for themselves. They feel bad for themselves because they feel like, some days they might feel like they're in control and they're the god, they're almost like a god in their universe. And some days that reality of you have to pay the price, you have to pay for the things you've done, or they see the person that they're with being spiritually attacked, and they have to live with knowing that all these spiritual attacks that person is going through is because of them. So even if they get what they want, they can't enjoy what they want. So to them, they're trying to compensate with the universe by telling themselves, okay, I know I did this to these people, but I regret what I did. They're in a state of mind where they're acting like empaths. They might even open up to other people. And they might tell themselves, I'm ashamed of what I've done. I have this guilt, I have this shame, but I'm with this new supply now, and I can't I can't, be mad at myself for the things I did in the past. I'm not going to guilt myself over those things. They already happened. There's nothing that I can do about it. You know, a lot of times they feel like they changed. Even they feel like they're more of an empath now, even, and they're playing that role, but they still don't have complete empathy. It's like the narcissist will act on impulse and then come and be with you and leave, discard you, and they won't even think about what they did. They won't even think about their actions. They won't even think about the fact that they hoovered you, and now you'll have to suffer from that hoover all over again, because they're not thinking about you. They're thinking, okay, this guilt I feel, it has nothing to do with them. To them, it's about, I feel shame. Let me go back. Okay, you're helping me with the shame that I feel because you're forgiving me, so I can't be that bad because you forgave me. And now you fueled me enough to keep going and keep deceiving, and you fueled me enough to now where I don't have to think about you and that guilt until they feel it again. They're playing that role because it's soothing to them. They're almost mimicking you. And they're believing that the person that they're mimicking, which is you, is who they are. They actually believe it. Like they almost feel like that new version of themselves that they are. They feel like that new version of themselves it came from them. It's all them. So just like you can simply acknowledge that you learned a lot from the narcissist, how they manipulate, how they victimize themselves, how, just how wicked, how cold-hearted they are, how calculated they are. Just how you can admit these things, that you learn these things. The narcissist won't admit that they're changing or they've changed because of you. So if you bring that up to them, it will just make them hate you. And now they'll just tell themselves, this is why I don't deal with this person. This is why I deal with them from a distance. This is why I don't even think about them. So the narcissist's hate for you will grow to the point where, they have to distance themselves from you because it brings out hate inside of them. And then that's when they usually go back to their old patterns, and now they start treating that person they're with in the same manner that they treated you. And they start telling that new person that, they're not appreciating what the narcissist is doing. So the narcissist is like, I forgot about all my last supplies. I put everyone in the past for you. All the people I hurt for you. They're giving themselves credit for who they are, for evolving, for moving from one person to one. They're patting themselves in the back for that. They're not giving anyone credit. They're not giving anyone, you made me look at the world, or you made me see this different, or you're the one who told me to change this about myself because that's what was holding me back. They're not looking at the good advice. They're not looking at any of those things. To them, it's, how can I compensate all this shame, all this guilt that I'm feeling into this new person? How can I change? How can I transfer that energy? So what the narcissist will start to do is they will start to expect more of that person. Now, because of their own shame and guilt, they want that person to prove to them that they're not cheating, that now they want to make sure that they know that person's every move. Now they want to make sure that they're in that person's head, in that person's mind, in order to know their every thought, to prove to them that they're thinking of them at all times, because they know what it's like. They know what it's like to hurt people and leave them in the past and not think of them anymore. So they're putting their foot on that person's neck to make sure that they stay on that person, they stay on the narcissist's mind, even if they have to abuse verbally, physically, spiritually. I tried going back to the old supply, but if I go back to the old supply, they might do to me what I did to them. Or they might go back to the past, but there's no connection there anymore because both parties have awakened to what's going on. It makes the narcissist feel uncomfortable. So now they're frustrated because there's nowhere to go, but they know that, hey, I have to go. They feel like I have to go through with what's in front of me. Life goes on, right? Life goes on. I can't just sit here and stop my life just because, you know, I've been going on this roller coaster. That doesn't mean anything. That was so yesterday. To them, you know, to them, they don't even necessarily think of you. Just like the new supply has to prove themselves, has to give up their soul to the narcissist. The narcissist only thinks about you when comparing you. They don't feel guilt or shame as far as for what they did to you. To them, it's all, I feel guilt because that other person would have done this and you won't do it. That's how they decipher their guilt. Sometimes the narcissist is actually the one that is being played like a yo-yo. They left you for that fairy tale, and now that they're in that fairy tale world that they wanted to be in, now they're selling themselves out to the new supply. They're playing that perfect person. They're standing, in their hands, on their hands and knees for that person. They're being treated the way that they treated you. So they don't have time to think about you. They don't have time to think about you only when they need you to heal them. Meaning that after all the things the narcissist has done to you, they will literally come around you and be crying over the new supply and expect you to heal them because they know you're a good person, because they haven't learned their lesson. They feel like they already know what's going on with you. They feel like they already know what's going on with you. They gambled. This is what they chose. And they feel like, hey, these are the cards that I have to deal with, and that's just what it is. That's the conclusion that I came to, is that I have to deal with these cards because this is the supply I picked at the end of the day. So to them, it's this guilt, this shame, but they don't necessarily think about it in details. Like, I did this to this person, I did that to that person, I did that to that person. They're mad at me because of this. To them, it's more of, I'm allowing myself to be abused and mistreated. But, I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for me because I know I've done things to other people, but I know I only think about myself. I don't care about those people. They could have been dying, and I'm running after the new supply for whatever reasons, right? The narcissist won't think about you. They're only thinking of, yeah, my last supply was a good person. Right now, I'm going through something with this new supply. I want that person in my life because they were a good person. I wish I could be their friend, but I know I can't be their friend because I've already used up all their resources and energy, and they're not going to want to be a good friend to me. Why would they want to be a good friend after what I've done? So they hate that they can't use you. And in the narcissist world, if they can't use you, they have no use for you. They don't feel sad or feel sorry for what they did. They don't want to think about you because there's nothing to get or gain. The narcissist is so emotionally immature that they will literally cry, for someone else in front of you and expect you to heal them, but they're not telling you the full story. They feel like they're not living right. They feel like there's something wrong with them. That's the feeling that they'll get, is something's wrong with me. I don't know what to do. And that's when you see them acting crazy, turning to drugs, partying. They get wilder than before, more delusional than before. And then they use that new supply to try to calm down again. They're on that high all the time when they're cheating. They're on that high, having to lie all the time, having to play different people. then it's like they can have whatever it is that they were praying to their God for, but then when they get it, you know, they're not satisfied. They don't feel good. They lied so much that the truth actually makes them uncomfortable now. Isn't that crazy? Like the truth being uncomfortable, the truth not being first nature to you, having to play different people. And now, you know, everything starts catching up to them and they need to make a choice for themselves. And now that they're by themselves with this new supply, they try to erase you away like you never even existed, because to them, the time that they spent with you was very, very short. So to you, it might seem like you spent, you know, years with the narcissist. You're like, oh, I spent 7, 10 years, 15 years. To the narcissist, it was like a blink of an eye. They've been tormented for so long that was like a blink of an eye to them, you know. So now they put all of that energy into that new person, you know, the good things they learned, the things that you wanted, and now, you know, that rage inside of them, that low frequency inside of them starts to come out. And they have to project it to whoever's around them. So whoever's closest to them will get it. So if for a long time they were doing it to you, they were putting all that bad energy on you. Now what's going to happen is that they won't have you around to send that low, to dump that low frequency on. So now they're going to be forced to dump it on the people around them. And when they dump it around the people around them, they're not going to want to hear it. You know, it's kind of like when you are going through narcissist abuse and people don't really want to hear you out. That's how it is when you're gone and you're not the person the narcissist gets to dump all that negative energy on. Now they have to dump it on the people around them. It has to go somewhere. You know, that low frequency that they were on, it doesn't just die. They know that too. They know it gets worse. That's why they hate themselves. Sometimes they feel like they're doing you a favor because they're like, I'm not really that great, even though I tell you I am, you know? So sometimes that low frequency starts to take over them in a way that they can't come back from. And because of that, they feel like they're always on the go. They feel like that energy is always going to catch up to them. This is why they're always on the run, you know. This is why they're dumping everything on you. It's almost like they're dumping everything on you because they know they can't help themselves. So they're like, let me dump it on the empath. They'll be able to move on past this. They'll be able to move past what I did to them. Let me go over here, you know, and let me get with the type of supply that I want, or let me, you know, let me live this fictitious lifestyle over here. And this is why they keep you around, because they feel like they're winning. They're like, I'm winning, you know. They're dumping all this energy, bad energy on you, and then they're over here and they're acting completely different. They're treating people better. So when you're away, when you're gone, the narcissist has to dump that negative energy. And a lot of times you were the greatest supply they had. They were dumping energy on you that most people wouldn't even accept or find it tolerable. So now, you know, they're going to, you know, try to almost show people that, hey, you know, I'm living a new life. You were the toxic one, right? The empath was the toxic one. The reason that narcissists pretend like they don't care about you and you don't mean anything to them, yeah, they're not pretending. They really feel like you don't mean anything to them, but they're lying about the role that you play in their lives. Meaning that, you know, you could have been that friend. You know, you're supporting someone. No one else is supporting them like you, you know. They want the attention maybe from others. They feel like they can do it without you, but they needed your words for them to feel empowered, for them to have drive. They hear you talk and now they're telling you their plans. A lot of times the narcissist will open up to you just so that you can tell them what's going on in your life, what demons you're fighting. You can't even tell these people what demons you're fighting. You can't tell they're fighting demons themselves, so you can't tell people who are fighting demons what demons you're fighting, because now that's going to fuel them to think that they know you more than what they actually know you. And now that makes them look at you as if you're weak. The moment these people think they have you figured out, that's when they crush you. But if you're on to them, it's not going to crush you. You're just going to watch it play out. They want it to affect you. They think that they are more than what you see them as in your world. They think that you view them as something special, and a lot of you do, until you start to see that there's nothing special about these people. A lot of times, these people will claim that you're this, you're that, but they've never showed the same support, the same energy towards you. So when they come back and they were telling you, they weren't thinking about you, make them remember and eat their words. They've done this many times before. All these relationships they've been in, for years, triangulating people for years, and while they're with you, triangulating you, to them it's like, I'm triangulating people, and even though they feel like I've been with them for years, in my mind, I don't really feel like I've been with them for years because I've been triangulating them. I'm so busy lying that I can't have no emotional connection to either party. So, I'm so busy worried about when I'm going to get caught that the time is going by so fast. My lies keep catching up, and I know how to play this game. I know how to, to the narcissist, it's like, if I can stay with you for years, I'm playing the game well, even if you might think they're being sloppy, or you're staying out of love, out of trauma. To them, it's like, they feel like they're outsmarting the situation because they're buying time. One thing that I have learned about narcissists is that you can't even allow them to buy time off of you. Meaning, if you're dealing with a Jezebel and you're dealing with a narcissist, they're both going to portray like they're victims who are changing their life, but you'll see that it doesn't add up. They're buying time just by being around you, and they know that. They don't have to be getting anything out of you, but they will. Sometimes you'll think, you're not losing anything from giving back, especially in times of needs. But every relationship that they have with people, they're always looking at it as an opportunity, even when you don't think that they are looking at it such way. And this is why, if they don't get anything out of it, they're like, I don't want to, it's like a business to them. I'm never going to think about it again if I can't get as much out of it without having to invest too much. A lot of times these people aren't thinking about you. They're just thinking about getting even. They're thinking, oh, I need to get back every source, every breadcrumb that I gave you. I need to get that back too. Honestly, if these people aren't thinking about you, it's actually a good deal, because if they are thinking about you, they're looking to take. They're buying time, and at the same time, they're afraid because they feel like they're running out of time. And you might think to yourself, why does this person feel like they're running out of time? We've been together for so many years. They have had nothing but time. I was sitting here waiting for them to accomplish certain dreams, motivating them, and they didn't even accomplish what they set out to accomplish. The narcissist wants to forget you because They know that they spent a lot of time reliving scenarios, trying to make the perfect scenario. They know that they sold you the illusion of the things that they wanted to succeed in, and they know that you gave them more than enough time to do those things year after year, and it never happened. So they don't want to think about that person they were, and in some cases, that they still are. They don't want you to know that they're still going through it. They don't want you to know that things have gotten worse, even if they don't look like them physically. Because their whole thing is, I need to use y'all, to get to where I need to get to. And at the end, they still didn't even get to the destination. They just took themselves back to the past, back to another little truck stop, just to do the same thing over again. So in their minds, they don't even remember you. To them, it's like, okay, I'm at this truck stop now, meeting some parking lot lizards, and I don't really remember. I know I'm married and stuff, but because I've been with so many people, I don't really remember even my wife. So every time I go back home after I've been on the road for months, I'm looking at my family and everyone like they're a complete stranger. I'm looking at them like I don't really remember them. I know I have a lot. The wife's looking at that person like, I've been waiting for you to come home. We've been waiting here. It's the holidays, and the wife is setting everything up, making everything look beautiful. She's been waiting. She's been loyal, waiting for her husband. That's all she thinks about is her husband. And when he comes home, she's ready to cater for him, because that's all she's been thinking about is, when's the next time I'm going to see you? When's the next time I'm going to be with you, right? And it feels magical. The narcissist comes in and they feel like they're going back to an old supply that is a new supply. They don't look at people in the way that you think, like the emotional connection. So they're looking at it like, almost like you're a stranger, and to them it's almost like, even though they've been on the road for a couple of months, to them it doesn't feel like it. It feels like, their time perception is very different. It's very strange, because to them it's like, I haven't seen you for years. It's been months I've been on the road. It feels like I haven't seen you for years, because I've been with so many supplies on the road. So in one hand, it feels like it's been years, but in the other hand, it's like, I know these years that we've been together feel like a long time, but in my mind, it's only felt like months, because I've only captured you for only certain periods of times, because I was always outside of the relationship. The narcissist basically forces themselves not to think about you. Like, that's therapy to them, repeating things to themselves, looking in the mirror, trying to show certain facial expressions, trying to throw you off, So when you assume that they don't think about you, they might not think about you the way you want them to think about you. And when you find out what type of person they are, you're not going to want them to think about you in that way, because you're going to see that all they're going to do is slander you and throw you under the mud based off of the information they have gathered about you and who they think you are, which will make you see that they never even knew you at all. When you're in that moment with the narcissist, time is going by slow. It feels like it's going by extremely slow, because you're in love with this person. Time has literally froze. But for the narcissist, it's not like that. They're like the adult that's looking at the child, and it's like, no, time is going to go by fast. Time is going by fast. That's why I'm going from supply to supply to supply. That's why me lying to you for years doesn't really mean anything to me, because I'm running away from all the shame and the guilt that I feel. So time is constantly going by fast. And this is why when they come back, they spend shorter and shorter amounts of time with you, because it seems to them like, I already caught up with you and I know everything there is to know about you and there's nothing new. And this is why they'll ghost you again, because to them it's like, okay, there's nothing I can get out of this situation. Time to go again, right? So time doesn't matter to the narcissist. But once you're part of their web, they feel like they can always, just circle back around and get with whatever supply is at reach. Time doesn't mean anything to them. To them, it's like time is going by so quickly because they're living in this shame, and they know that time is going by slowly for you because you're trying to heal from it. So to them, it's like, okay, I'm going to mess with time because I know you need time to heal while I'm on to the next. And this is why they can come back, because they're like, hey, even if I come back, you're still going to be healing. So who cares, and they'll just keep, coming in and out of your life for shorter and shorter periods of times until they start to see that you're healing, and you're starting to see that when they leave, they're not even thinking about you, because every time they're coming back to you, it's just a new person. It's a different version of them that you're getting. So this is how you know they're not thinking about you, is that when they come back around you, they're not even who you remembered them being. The reason the narcissist does not think about you is because the narcissist is consumed with themselves. They've always been consumed with themselves, with their own issues, with their own problems. It's just that you didn't know that. You weren't aware of it. And even when you became aware of it, you thought that you were just being a good person and you were being there for someone. But when the narcissist moves on and they have to face new challenges, they don't think about you. They don't think about the past. To them, anything that they did to you, it was a long time ago. So if they did something to you a year ago and they you were under their demonic attack continuously, to them it's like, oh, that happened several years ago and it wasn't that bad, even though in your experience it was a life and death situation. You physically were ill. You physically were in a state of mind, physically just deteriorating, right? And the narcissist looks at it like it happened a long time ago. They don't even think about what they've done to people, even though they have guilt, shame, anger, and all these emotions, but they don't link them to you the way you would link your anger to them. So if you're angry and you're projecting your anger towards strangers and then you hate yourself because of it, you can correct it, because you can tell yourself, hey, I'm the problem because I'm taking out my anger, my frustration out on people because of the narcissist, because of what they projected onto me, So you can see these actions and you can correct them. But because the narcissist cannot correct their actions, they'll just attack you, feel shame, but they don't know where that shame and guilt and anger is coming from. They won't link it to you. They'll just keep saying that that's just part of their personality. And then, they know something's off with them. They know there's a missing link. There's like a missing piece, and they know that. But they feel like that's what makes them such a great person, because they feel like that's what keeps most people stuck or trapped, is thinking about a specific place or person and what that person or place meant to them. And because the narcissist feels like none of these people that they came across or places that they came across have impacted them, They feel like they could keep moving forward. So to them, it's like, I could keep moving forward. I feel what you feel. I feel it worse, but I keep moving forward because I don't have something linking these emotions, this anger. I don't have none of these things that are linked to it necessarily, so you basically can't fix this person because this person won't even take accountability, and when they do, you could tell it's like they're just telling you what you want to hear because they want to make themselves look normal. So to them, this is why they can easily forget you. The there's always those thoughts of people that, of course, you'll never forget. Of course, you'll never forget certain people and certain experiences, but the narcissist truly does forget you. They forget you. They start forgetting what you. They start forgetting all the memories, all the good memories that you have with them. They forget all the good memories, and they only remember the bad. And even though they only remember the bad, they know that they were the cause of those bad moments. So a lot of times you try to let go of all the bad memories and only remember the good so that you can keep inviting this person into your life, right? So you try to hold on to the good, expecting them to be the good. You let go of the bad memories. But what the narcissist does is that they hold on to the bad memories to remind themselves to not mess with you. And now the flying monkeys are like, yeah, you're right. You could do better than that. She's not even all that. He's not even all that. So now they go from projecting these thoughts into their flying monkeys, and it'll be their flying monkeys who, will feel the narcissist, and eventually the narcissist forgets about you. They focus on the flying monkeys because they feel like they're grateful to the flying monkeys to have been there for them throughout the whole thing. Only that energy, that low frequency, everything they were doing doesn't die. So now it starts to transform itself into the people closest to them, the people who were their flying monkeys. So now, they were so busy trying to forget you and using the flying monkeys to forget you. But now the flying monkeys cannot forget you, even though they don't know you. They can't forget you. And now the narcissist is showing off their new supply to their flying monkeys, and the flying monkeys remember you and the bad things they said about you. And now the flying monkeys will start projecting that hate onto the narcissist. It's like they secretly don't want the narcissist to be happy. A lot of times the narcissist could have antagonized them. They're using the flying monkey to tell lies while the flying monkey has their own problems. And now the narcissist is giving that flying monkey bad advice to ruin themselves, to ruin their relationships. And then that person ruins their relationships, and now that flying monkey is mad. They're upset because they were there for the narcissist. They listened to the narcissist's problems, and now the narcissist isn't there for them the way they were there for them when they were triangulating you. And now you see that the flying monkeys will turn on them, and this is what the narcissist will do, is they will tell the new supply, oh, my friends are jealous of me. I don't really like them. They're haters. They don't want to see me happy. Oh, it's just me and you against the world. I'm going to cut all my friends for you. I'm going to spend all my time with you. And then by the time they do that, they forget about everyone. They forget about the past supply. They forget about the flying monkeys. And now they're dedicating all of their time and energy to that new supply, doing the things that you've always wanted. They're treating that person better, and the flying monkeys, everyone, is turning on the narcissist. And now the narcissist almost plays this role with this new person like they're an empath, like they were never a narcissist. But we also know that they have to pay the price. So by the time they pay the price, they won't be thinking about you. But by the time but by the time they do pay the price and they're going through hell, they're going to remember glimpses of the things that they did to you. They're going to wish that they were in another situation, in another circumstance. They're going to wish they could go back. They're going to wish that they could, they could have done certain things differently, reacted a certain way differently. And sometimes they might even come back acting like time hasn't really changed. They're almost expecting you to still be grieving, and by then you've already moved on with your life. The problem is that, the universe is waiting for you to move on, for you to stop wondering why they stop thinking about you so quickly. Why the universe wants you to finally accept, and understand that, what you put out is what you get, so I hope that this message on why the narcissist forgets about you quickly, and how when they come back, even they're a stranger, but they're expecting you to still be the same person. And a lot of times they know you won't be the same person. And this is why they won't come back, because they have came back, they have hoovered you, and they were seeing you change. So by the time these people, really get their karma and they learn the lesson that they can't run away from what they've been doing, they can't just go into people's lives and, think, oh, I'm living the fast life, so I can just do what I want. Living the fast life, there's consequences to that. You're thinking you're living in the future, so you're sitting here playing with people who you feel are living in the past. And, in the end, you end up living in the past while these people end up living in the future, because you tried to con your way in. So, I hope that this message, you guys, was helpful. I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace, and your healing. If you guys want to book a session with me, my booking information will be on the description. Just give me about 24 hours to respond to you. And as always, I'm sending you guys lots of love. Talk to you guys on the next podcast. Love you guys. Bye.